Hello everyone and welcome back to Do Not Like, Do Not Read. My name is Clemens and with me today is Adam
At your service?
and John.
Greetings, normies.
And today we are here to ruin your childhood by reading Creepypasta Ruin Your Childhood, a sample of 3 stories, and maybe we'll come back to this. Starting with Alvin.
Ooh, starting off with the classics.
Not even Alvin and the Chipmunks, just Alvin. You know, the author.
It's a more honest title.
Yeah, he just cuts straight to the chase, like Theodore
I mean,
who?
why just forget Theodore? Just forget everyone else, and you're good.
Yeah, it is written by Chucky Freak. So, without further ado, I was having a great day. Had a drink with my friends earlier. Spent some time with the wife. Since I had some time off, I decided to watch a movie. I was skimming through all the channels, HBO, Stars, Max.
All three of them.
All three of them. And I then saw Alvin and the Chipmunks on Cinemax.
That's 4 total channels.
I remember, as a child, really liking the movie. For some reason, though, all it said in the description was a bunch of random gibberish. I thought it was just a system error. And he has HP.
Azeroth, Metreon, Zinthos. What is this gibberish?
But, like, I don't know. I feel like Alvin and the Chipmunks is totally like the last thing I would watch if I had HBO, right?
Yeah, the true horror story here is an adult man watching Alvin and the Chipmunks by himself.
Yeah.
Ah, excellent point.
I pressed play, and it went there. There was a...
Where?
It went there. It went there.
Here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
Is that what you have, Green Eggs and Ham?
There was a dark black screen. It couldn't have been messed up. Wasn't a power outage, and I had bought the channel for sure. I remember the people installing it 3 days ago. Finally, it started up. This was the movie that came out in 2007. When it loaded up...
Alright,
What?
never mind, go on.
It just started with a screen that said, Alvin. So even...
I was going to say, as opposed to the movie, like, where they go around the world in, like, hot air balloons. That's all I got there.
See, even the movie's honest. It's just Alvin. It doesn't have anything to do with anything else, you know.
Since this is Wattpad, there are comments on each line, and one comment on this line is, I'm 14 and I would still watch this movie.
You know what? Just be honest. If they're honest, they're living their life. I can't even be mad at that, right?
Yeah.
That's when things started to get a little strange. It started off with the Chipmunks. They weren't singing. They were mouthing some sort of words. Okay? And it was really creepy because their eyes were completely white and they were just staring. Then their eyes started to bleed. And it wasn't the crappy low CGI blood you see in video games or such. No, it was as if you could touch it and feel it.
I should know. I touched it and felt it. It felt like blood.
Yeah, the CGI blood felt real. Then, all you could hear was people shouting really loudly. I decided it was sure as hell not the same thing that all the could know, so I tried to change it. But it wouldn't change. The remote was dead. Which was odd because we had put in new batteries a day ago. I put some new ones in. Nothing. I tried unplugging the television. Nothing. They were still mouthing words, bleeding eyes, people shouting. I had no choice but to watch. I mean, you could have just left.
You have multiple options at your disposal here. You could go on your iPad, read a book, or smash the TV.
Call
you know
an exorcist, maybe. You know, I don't know. Or like a ghost, a medium or something. I don't know.
Call the Ghostbusters. Call Penn and Teller. Call James Randi if he's still alive. Depending on when you wrote this.
I mean, you could also break your TV, which is preferable to watching Alvin and the Chipmunks.
True. Ayo, true.
Thankfully, it stopped. Then it came back to the normal movie, except it started off with Dave on his... Dave is in quotation marks. Okay.
That's the Chipmunk fandom. They put Dad in quotation marks so much that they just put Dave's name in quotation marks now.
The artist formerly known as Dave.
We was watching a man stab a woman repeatedly. Then
Now, when you say we, is it the royal we or like?
I don't know. Maybe it's just him and Dave watching. Maybe they've I don't know. They've merged at this point.
Yeah.
Then, instead of when Alvin and others hide in the cabinets, he climbs in through the window and grabs one of his knives. It showed a close-up frame of him. He was mauled, white eyes, and was bleeding very realistic blood. He came over to Dave and took the knife and jammed it right into Dave's skull. He was stabbing him and wouldn't stop. Then Alvin just started eating him. He took out his claws and started with his head, just stabbed it, and took out one of his eyeballs. He was eating it, and the noise was so realistic.
It's like he was actually, like... why would you mention that him eating an eyeball is realistic? Eating anything is realistic.
Yeah. Also, does this guy also just know what eyeballs sound like when you eat them? I guess, I guess we don't know this guy's career. Then Claire came in and said, "Hey, Dave, I forgot my keys here yesterday. I'll just be..." She looked at Alvin. Alvin then smiled, a very gruesome, teethy smile. He extended his claws. Claire tried opening the door. It was locked from the outside. And all of the windows were locked too. Alvin went to Claire. I heard a music that then sounded like a mix between screaming and gunshots.
Ooh, it's like it's the sequel to the Beatles number 9. I was looking forward to that.
What does that sound like, though? Just screaming and gunshots. Like, I know what that sounds like. Like what music would sound like that?
Maybe it's just the 7th Nation Army, but instead of instruments, it screams. Like...
I guess that makes sense, yeah. I didn't see it, thankfully, but you could hear Alvin laugh. It was devilish, but not deep? Okay. I then saw a scene of Claire's eyeballs taken out of her skull. Her brain was next to her, and her skull had a large knife stuck in it. Then I saw the screen fade to black, and it said, "Dinners served." There's no apostrophe there, so it's just multiple dinners.
All the
served.
dinners are served at the appropriate time for everyone.
So he just made I guess he was serving food for his brothers. So, just multiple dinners, humans.
Okay, so I want to go back here. Dave killed someone, and then Alvin killed him. How is that creepypasta eating shit?
Because it's on the TV and he can't turn it off. And he chooses.
It's just super lazy, really.
Yeah, it's weird. I think the weird thing is, though, in the next line it says, "Black screen." It stood there for 10 minutes at most. So this guy just stood and watched his TV for 10 minutes. With a black screen.
Yeah, there wasn't anything else he could do.
I think the real creepy thing in this story is this guy. What's with this dude? Then I saw Simon and Theodore in their tree. They were sleeping very peacefully. And they were snoring musical notes. What? Animated?
Maybe. Or they're, snoring in tune to, do, re, mi, fa, so.
I kind of like that. I would do my interpretation of that right now, but I think it would ruin the recording. They were sleeping very peacefully, and they were snoring musical notes. I could see Alvin in the distance. One random flash of Hunder. Hunder. He was right.
The lightning was hungry for Hunder.
Yeah. One flash of Hunder. He was right behind them. Black screen for 10 seconds. After that, you could hear the poor little screams. It was terrible. It was louder than a train, jet, and car smashing against the ground at the same time. Very specific. I covered my ears and hard as I could. No use. "For God's sake!" I yelled.
Tell me, why am I still doing this to myself?
Yeah, why didn't you just leave? I then saw a frame of Theodore's skull twisted the other direction, and his limbs sticking out. He had a giant hole in his chest. Then Simon's glasses were bent, and there was blood all over them. Simon's body had his head chopped off, and his legs and bottom torso were missing. Then I saw Alvin suddenly pop up on the screen and laughed. It then ended normally with the normal credits, and then started playing the movie Cars. Okay, that's the horror part, right?
Ka-chow!
I didn't dare try to call the channel service for fear of what I had just seen. I would never watch the movie again.
So the really nice thing is he unplugged his TV earlier, but never plugged it in again. So now his TV runs without electricity.
Oh, excellent choice. But I got serious questions about the second to last paragraph. Theodore's skull is twisted in the other direction. Which direction? Or is it like his skull? Is it like now twisted up and stuff? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I imagine it's just like turned around, like it was twisted around so it's facing back. I don't know. Or
gotcha.
That was
But
my
also,
interpretation.
I'm pretty sure Simon didn't have glasses until like the third into the movie.
Yeah, but this clearly wasn't the... I mean, they also didn't eat Dave in the movie, so... I don't know.
I don't think this author is... I don't think we should give this author too much credit for that. Or whatever. Okay.
So the next one is...
Next up,
Yeah.
we have the Looney Tunes show. The following entries are found from a journal of a man who was brutally murdered. His name was not mentioned to protect his identity. Why would you put your own name in your own entries of a journal?
I guess he just...
Like,
I don't know, they knew it.
Dear Derry, my name is Chucky Freak, and I watched the Looney Tunes show today.
I mean, I'm so proud of his channel that I start my diary entries with Hi Diary, Clemens from DLDR here.
Nice. June 4th, 2011. As a kid, I loved Looney Tunes. It was my favorite show, and hearing the remake of the Looney Tunes show, I didn't know what to think. It looked like the jokes were lame, the plots were rushed, and nothing like the original. The first episode I watched was a pretty good one. The one with Bugs and Lola. The next day, I was sent a message by a friend who shared my interests. It was a link to a video, and the message said, "Only a true fan can handle the twisted versions."
Oh, we
That
got...
sounds like a no true Scotsman fallacy to me.
We got a lot of gatekeeping already in this one.
Yeah.
Only the true Looney Tunes shows fans can handle whatever's about to come.
I didn't know what to think. As I got to the video, it was flagged. Like was it a YouTube link, or was it like a MP4 that was flagged somehow?
I don't know, it just says flagged. It just says flagged. And, yeah.
I said okay and signed in. I noticed something odd. The views were only 6. So how could it have been inappropriate? Who knows? Well, when a view is 6 years old, you can't show them shows like this. It's too inappropriate for their little minds.
I guess that makes sense, yeah. It only took 6 people to realize what we were about to read was just awful.
When I got to the video, the screen for 5 seconds.
The screen what?
The screen for 5 seconds. The screen just 5 seconds. It. Then I cut to Bugs and Daffy's house. They were moving around as if they were talking, but said nothing. Their mouths were not even moving. That sounds like actually like a great opener. Just them just doing their thing without like them interacting without actually saying stuff. That would be kind of funny. And then I don't know, Lola and or Porky would be like, "Why aren't you talking?" Then I noticed an anonymous mask in the window. I mean, do you never know anyone in a mask that's not anonymous?
They mean like anonymous, like the V for Vendetta masks?
I forgot this writer doesn't know anything beyond internet culture.
Yeah.
For a second. It was emotionless. The sky was also black, representing night. The blue sky representing day, of course.
Yeah, they're just telling us what it meant. You know, I mean, maybe. I mean, is the sky black at different times of the day depending on where you live? I guess if you're in not Australia, Antarctica, right? It's black all day.
They kept moving, simulating that they were speaking and making gestures. There was also a sound, like a reversed electric guitar note. That's some, like, non-Euclidean geometry, like, shit here. And plus, I'm pretty sure if you just reverse an electric guitar tone, it's just, like, the opposite of what it's played, you know?
I don't. I'm trying. Like maybe it meant like played backwards. I don't know. What would that sound like?
Yeah, exactly. Even if it was played backwards, it would just still sound like a bung the entire thing, you know?
Yeah. Well.
And even then, it reversed, it would be like, nah. That's not really scary. That's not scary.
I mean, clearly Chucky Freak knows a lot more than we do. So.
Then I saw two people. They were both white female teenagers who were gagged. Oh, Chucky Freak, you need to be very, very careful with the next line. Then I saw both of them shaking, as if they were laughing. Then the two girls were set on fire, but they weren't cartoon looking. They were the real deal. The girls were real, you mean?
Yeah, they said it were like. I guess they said they were just real people. It suddenly became a snuff film, I guess.
Then they started shaking faster, as if they were sped up. Then it cut to Bugs, whose mouth was gone. And it got to Daffy Face, and it was weird. Like you could just. Okay, never mind. I'll get to my point in a sec. If you have seen the end of Suicide Mouse.avi, where Mickey's face was white, it was like that. Okay, Broseph.
Am I too old for this? I don't know what that is.
It's not even that. Like, Broseph, you're writing a story. If you have to reference another story for it to make sense in your weird, like, creepypasta, you failed, my dude. The whole thing of writing is that you have to show stuff. Don't just be like, oh, it's like that one show from Star Trek where they had to reverberate the thing by using, I don't know, the Triforce or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't even... Suicide... I don't even know what that is. I feel... I just don't understand anything on the internet, I guess.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Then it cut to Bugs, whom was covering his non-existent mouth. His eyes were black, and his ears were drooped. And I mean, impossibly, unrealistically drooped. Like, how so?
How is it... Can his ears...
Did they extend into the ground and start clipping through reality? Did they, like, clip through his brain?
Yeah, you know, like, Bugs' ears, I don't think they normally droop, but I mean, it wouldn't be, like, impossible to see that, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Then I heard some piano music. It was odd, though. It didn't seem as if it fit. And it was just off. I mean, to be fair, like... any music playing during the scene would seem off. Then Daffy looked angry, as if his family had just been killed. You see what happens when you don't let me kill my family, or whatever?
You know, by the way, anyone listening, if you haven't seen the Looney Tunes show, it really is funny. Like, it was much funnier than it deserved to be.
I loved Lola Bunny in that show.
Best version of Lola Bunny, for sure.
Yay, time to support my favorite cause, littering. Then it cut to Bugs, who was now speaking, but he was still covering his mouth, on which I saw a green substance smeared around, escaping. So wait, is he speaking actual words, or is he, like, speaking but his mouth is muffled, or something?
I guess, yeah, it sounds like he's covering his mouth, so it's like that.
His eyes were now invisible, same with his ears. So can we see two things? Can we see into his brain then if his eyes were invisible?
Maybe this is like the Doodle Bob episode where just everything's being erased right in front of us.
Oh yeah. Mia Then Then Daffy was designed differently. His beak was gone and replaced with a simple slap-on mouth. That's not a design choice. Just say his beak was replaced with a weird mouth.
That's actually kind of terrifying to think about. Can you imagine Daffy looking like that?
Oh.
That's
You're right. I think he accidentally stumbled onto the scariest thing in the story here.
Pretty much.
His eyes are also slanted. Oh, come on! This isn't the time. It's not culturally okay to just have like Asian stereotypes in this day and age. Come on, man. Then cut to Bugs, who was now shaking violently. His face was gone, and it had a hint of red to it. The face, which is now gone. The face was somewhere else. The face was not somewhere else, and I want to let you know that it was red. Okay.
I mean, the author, very good at describing all the things we aren't supposed to see. So, credit?
Yeah. 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 The episode then had dialogue, but the video was replaced with some text. Just say the screen was replaced by text, my dude. If only you knew the power that one human can be capable of. I laughed silently because there's obviously nothing to do with the show so far. Then my speakers exploded with sound, just like those phones exploded years ago. Samsung, was it?
I don't know
anymore.
I don't remember though. I don't remember what that was.
It was some battery problem where like the phone
I remember now.
Exploded.
I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah, that. Even when I muted them, they were still making noise, and then the dialogue would turn, but with one flaw. It was reversed. So I recorded to the video, reversed it, and this is what it said. Oh god, here we go. Now we're going with this. I need to prepare myself. Okay. No one realizes that one man can destroy the world. Donald Trump.
What?
That was terrible. Edit that out. I added that in. Whatever. Humans are just too cowardly. All these nukes this power, and they just whiffed it. There was muffled screaming in the background, followed by crackling fire. Do you think we should end these sad, pitiful lives? Of course! And we were cartoon legends. Ha! Screams were heard in the background. They both laughed, and it cut to black.
What?
The next thing I knew, it was the nuclear apocalypse.
You're
A notification had popped up saying that the internet had to be closed. Oh, I forgot. The internet had like hours. Like, the internet has holiday hours and stuff. Yeah. Does it get paid vacation days? You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to say one thing that Stannis brought up earlier in the last story is that these people keep turning off their appliances, but they're still working even without electricity. I mean,
that's just how creepypastas work, really.
Yeah, but like creepypastas, it's great for the environment. You're creating all this natural energy without.
All you have to do is just run off a few human souls. You know, it's environmentally conscious.
Yeah, I think we could totally power our environment on ghosts. Or no, just empower our society on ghosts.
Using literal nightmare fuel.
There you go.
Nice.
That was clever.
I love it. I love this. Let's get like an LLC going here.
That'll be the next project.
My computer then shut off in about 2 seconds. Then it turned back on in an instant. Every single thing on my computer was gone. Then the floor started to rumble. It was an earthquake. Countless hours later. Countless hours later? What the heck do you mean? Like, just say like a few hours, my dude.
No, he's countless. He literally waited till the end of time before anything more happened. This is actually happening in the future now.
Of course, of course. The news said that Kentucky was nuked. And I live in Florida. It was unknown who did this, but it was related to the video. How would you know? How would you know that,
How do you know what?
How would he know that, like, this was related to the video somehow?
Does it mean, like, it was connected? Like, it was, like, it was a recommended video?
No, I mean, like, in the context of this, wouldn't, like, the newscast say, a breaking news,
Bro.
Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck just blew up Kentucky.
I guess if they said that, I guess if it was mentioned that, Looney Tunes blew up Kentucky, I guess he would have to make that assumption that he watched this weird video and that's somehow related.
Okay, June 5, 2011. Today I was walking around, finding that I had some change left, and since I was getting thirsty, I decided to get a drink. I was pretty lucky considering I had just eaten the people stockpiling resources because of the obvious nuke attack.
Yeah. Things are
So I
pretty
went to
chill
the
in Florida. I mean, blowing up states is pretty regular. I mean, if you're in Florida, I guess you just kind of expect shit like this to happen. You just don't even blink.
Everyone knows that Florida is just the Australia of the States.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically. So I went to the nearest convenience store to got a soda. The cashier was acting oddly. He said, "Hey, what do you want? A machete to kill the bitch who knew Kentucky?" What? Then he paused and sighed as if he was about to say something else. During those seconds, it felt like days. I was cheerfully just breathing heavily, feeling scared, like I was out in the dark.
Those things don't seem
What?
to connect.
I need to read that again. During those seconds that felt like days, I was just cheerfully breathing heavily, feeling scared, like I was out in the dark. If you had more chops, and more practice, you could be the next H.P. Lovecraft, because you're describing, like, horrors beyond our understanding here. You know what I'm saying? Guys, back me up.
How do you cheerfully breathe heavily, even? And then you add fear on top of that?
Okay.
This sounds like... would just be like a whining noise.
I guess so. Since when do they sell machetes at convenience stores? Then he spoke again. Sorry, my brother was on vacation in Kentucky when it got nuked. Why would you vacation in Kentucky? What's so awesome in Kentucky? Was there just a giant ball made out of chicken wire in Kentucky?
I honestly can't remember what's in Kentucky.
Like the ninth wonder of the world is there?
I'm sure we have some people from Kentucky listening to this, and for that, I'm sorry, but your state sucks. We don't know anything about it.
Well, that is all I have to say for now. It is midnight, and I need to get some sleep. That is the one thing I can finally identify with, just going to a convenience store like super late at night.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really do that as much anymore because ever since like COVID, like I can't go on my like 2 o'clock in the morning Walmart runs anymore.
Yeah. June 8th, 2011. I wasn't able to update my journal recently. Just 3 days. I think you're fine, man. I was very busy when I found a VHS tape. The label read, "The Looney Tunes Show. The Universe Ends. Semicolon. Copyright 1999. 1999? What does that even mean?
How do you not understand that it's a year?
I mean, we all know that the year 1999 never actually happened, right?
But how the heck did I get here? I was born in that year.
You were probably...
Unless he doesn't understand the concept of numbers, or he doesn't understand the concept of the number 1999. Is he trying to say that doesn't make sense? The Looney Tunes show was made in 2011 or whatever.
No, he didn't say that. He said he doesn't know what 1999 means.
No, I'm saying I'm saying that like he doesn't understand, as this version of the Looney Tunes show was made in the 2010s and stuff, and 1999. It doesn't make sense. I understand like maybe that's what he's trying to say, but he's failing miserably to try to describe it. Maybe.
I just think he just doesn't know that 1999 was actually a year. So. But I mean, I clearly remember. I was born before that. I clearly remember us going from 98 to straight to 2000. So I could understand where he's coming from.
I went to my friend's house with the VHS tape. He told me that the tape has the exact episode that I saw. Okay. How would he know that? He got me the email of a friend of his aunt, who is the CEO of Cartoon Network. Bye for now. Okay. If your aunt is the CEO of Cartoon Network, I'm sure you'd be loaded.
I bet his uncle also works for Nintendo.
And his grandma is the CEO of Fortnite, or whatever the heck the company's name is. I don't know. June 11th, 2011. I emailed the CEO. It was about 9:23 in the morning. I saw a mysterious gray figure murdering my friend while I was getting my newspaper. I couldn't believe it. When I caught the gray figure's gaze, it was creepy. I mean... I mean, that is a very good reason to make him feel creeped out.
He jumps from ideas there pretty quickly. He goes from
Wait,
I emailed the CEO. Huh?
There's a distinct difference. The Gray with A figure murdered his friend, and he caught the gaze of a Gray with E figure. So there are two different Gray people around.
Great catch. The conspiracy grows.
The conspiracy, man. Again, the new H.P. Lovecraft right over here. His eyes were just dark, hollow holes, and he was holding up a bloody scalpel. What's with the period there? Did he just forget to space it out?
Yeah, it looks like it, but it's funnier that way, so I'll allow it.
His eyes. I'm sorry. I just find that funny.
Yeah.
He pointed to it with the big claw in his other hand, and nodded as if to tell me that I was next. This has some real, like, hash-slinging slasher energy right here. I bolted away, just packed my things in my van, and then abandoned my house. What the? You had the time to run from I'm a madman and pack your stuff when you just saw?
You could have just called the police.
Furthermore, Murderer Man, you could just run to him and kill the other dude now. You know? Why give him the time to run away?
He was sending a message, clearly. I mean, it's the only way this makes sense, right?
I have all the things I need in my van. Oh, and about the email, here is the exact email, word for word. Hey, about the Looney Tunes episode. That was the first episode, made by a maniac that worked in the CN studios for 3 years. In 99... What's 99? I don't know what numbers are, apparently. His final year, he suggested the show to us. After rejecting it 2 times, he made this a violent episode. That's not how episode production works. It's not all just one dude, you know?
He was a very multi-talented guy. He could do all the voices, all the animation. I mean, man, they would have saved a lot of money just keeping this guy on payroll.
I guess so, yeah. We actually burned the original copy. We have no idea how your friend rediscovered it. That's just basically saying, the writer saying, I don't know how the friend could find it. I don't know. He's throwing a sentiment in the air. Ellipses. Definitely not 1 and not 3. The writer was found dead in his house. Someone had apparently thrown a pipe bomb. Why a pipe bomb?
They threw it at him. It didn't even explode. They just threw it at him.
Yeah, just threw it out his head, and just knocked it on his dome. Then slit his wrist 8 times.
So, but even
who slit his wrist? Someone that threw the pipe bomb.
So that
would you slit the guy's wrists? And if the pipe bomb exploded, how were his wrists still like in one piece to be slit?
He didn't say that it exploded. He just threw the bomb at him, and when that didn't work, he went up and just cut his wrists. It's a very inconvenient way to kill somebody, but I guess, again, this guy was just sending a message. I don't know what that message was.
The message from the author here is that if you kill one idiot, it's a tragedy, but if you nuke Kentucky, that's...
Yeah. It's just Tuesday. It's just Tuesday.
Yeah, it is just, especially if you're in Florida, it's just Tuesday. If you just nuke another state,
I'm never gonna get over the pipe bomb thing.
Yeah, it is funny. Yeah,
I found the source of the ticking. It's a pipe bomb. Yay! If y'all got that reference, we appreciate you to no end.
And the final story today.
Ed and Eddie lost episode. Another lost episode because we just keep losing them.
Yeah, it's like lost socks. You lose all you when you put the film into the dryer, they just get lost.
You put your new season Ed and Eddie into the washing machine, and one episode goes missing when you hang them out to dry.
I love that image.
I do too.
As you may know, the popular show Ed and Eddie has been running for a long time. However, between October 7th, 2003 and October 21, 2003, episode 34 was accidentally released 1 week before it was scheduled to.
So it wasn't lost, it was just early?
I guess so. And also, was that actually a thing that happened? It seems like too specific a date to, like, for it to be just arbitrary.
We could go look that
Whatever.
up later and find out, but...
If you hear future me, or won't hear any future one of us right now, we're gonna explain it to you.
It was also known to some around the office the primary writer had been sick with the flu, and instead of going on to make episode 34, the show was supposed to replay episode 1.
Again, this guy does not know how cartoons work. If I may quote, the writer of Rick and Morty, Dan Harmon, here's how cartoons work. First you write them, then you draw them for a really long time. Like, it's not just one dude. If you just put, like, if it's just one dude writing a show, it's just a script.
Yeah, but clearly this author knows of very talented people who just do everything. Like,
Yeah,
one-man
his uncle
studios.
works at Cartoon Network, dude. CEO.
Oh yeah, that's right.
At 5 a.m. Eastern, people reported a very disturbing new episode premiering on Cartoon Network. Some children were unfortunate enough to see
Wait.
it.
Wait, 5 a.m. Eastern? That's literally 5 in the morning where I'm at.
Same here.
Who is up at 5 in the morning watching Cartoon Network?
I mean, if you wanted to watch the old shows, that was when they would play shit like Captain Planet and stuff. So maybe, I don't know, people who were Captain Planet stans.
Or like people that just watched Hero 108 for some reason, because they woke up at 6 for some reason. I don't know. Moving on.
Apparently, the quality of the episode was mediocre when held to the regular standards. Animation was choppy, sound was constricted and very muffled, reports of a line running up and down, similar to a crappy VHS tape, were received. Scenery was described as overwhelmingly dark and depressing without changing props and other background objects. Stormy looking.
What?
Yeah, you know all these physical props you have in the background of cartoons.
Instead of like a cup, it's just like the boomerang from one episode. They just reuse that one boomerang.
Maybe this was a live action episode.
Ah, that's why the animation was choppy. There was no animation.
Figuring it out. We're solving the mystery, boys.
Characters also behaved oddly. Instead of the normal, goofy, hijinks-inspired personalities, viewers complained they seemed extremely agitated, graciously hateful towards each other, and constantly about to begin sobbing after the lines.
Yeah, for some reason, it was very weird when Rolf just dropped the N-word on Plank.
And then he began sobbing afterwards.
Yeah.
Weren't they gratuitously hateful to each other a lot in that show?
Yeah, they were just stupid kids there, like, and just very angry, especially Eddie.
Yeah, they were all jerks. I mean, that seems pretty on point.
All kids are jerks. Especially Eddie, because he tried to model his behavior after his piece of shit older brother.
Oh, this is off topic, but man, I actually really liked the finale of the series.
Yeah, I do too. I saw a video essay about it. It was touching and stuff.
The protagonist also had a very bad lisp. No one knows why, but he spoke with a sexual tone and that further bothered the viewers.
What? Which protagonist? There's 3 of them. Because like I'm just imagining like Ed. Hey, baby, what? Do butter toast? I can't do Ed sexually.
I don't think Ed was ever supposed to be a sexual character.
He is not a sexual being. He has evolved beyond our degeneracy. Oh, and And now all he worries about is buttered toast.
I was one of these viewers. The episode began with Eddie walking down the street with Ed. I noted that Ed was missing. There was an angular shot coming from in front of the two to show them walking toward the viewer. He, Eddie, was wearing the angry look he does when something goes wrong. His eyes were wet around the iris.
He's just wearing the angry look like Mr. Potato Head. He's like, prepare to meet Mr. Angry Eyes.
Ed looked absolutely forlorn and practically dragged behind Eddie, tears in his eyes, which were both lazy and looking in opposite outwards directions.
That is secretly more horrifying than anything else in the story. I feel like.
Yeah. I'll give him credit. I can actually kind of picture this really well, though. I guess because I grew up on this show.
Yeah.
So I'll give the author credit on that.
Yeah, I was very well described. Point to you.
Yeah, it was not. Ed looked like
Golf
character in Creepypasta XY.
And the scary thing was that was you, and then you became skeleton and wrote this. I love that video.
Kevin, the serious antagonist, was riding his bike opposite of the Eds toward them. The shot became blurry and low moans were heard coming from Eddie before Kevin hit him, which never happened because the screen went to black.
What kind of moans? What kind of low moans are you talking about? Are those the sexual tones you were talking about before?
That's what I thought. Which, I don't know.
Moving right along. Forget about that.
The screen then snapped back and Kevin was again headed toward Eddie. The view was so blurry this time, all I saw was a green blob headed toward a yellow one. Again, the low moan, only this time it sounded like the microphone was broken and loud static came, greatly overshadowing the moan. A claymation sequence of Double D sleeping in...
A claymation? Oh, that's cool. Actually.
Live action episode. That claymation is kind of live action, right? Ish.
And I should have figured that Double D was probably the one that was speaking in a sexual tone. Leave it to a man who was known as Tits to speak in a sexual tone.
Sleeping in Eddie's bed came up. Honestly, it may have just been the abruptness, but I jumped and shivered. Walking up and getting out of bed, he moved oddly around the circular room, the fast pitter-patter of footsteps being the only audio. The step sounds were very clear as I was shown a bird's eye of him scampering around the room. There were no visible doors.
Yeah, someone was playing The Sims instead of just trapped Double D in a room. I guess.
That does kind of sound like it, yeah.
Ed began screeching, sounded like a fisher cat, as he moved widely around the cell of the room faster and faster until the screen began blurring again, the purple room's color swallowing a now orange blur.
Is he just like turning into the Tasmanian devil or something?
What is a fisher cat?
I'll put it up. I'll search it up. Fisher. Editor, if you don't mind putting it up. Oh, it's like a small little like weasel looking thing.
I didn't know that. It's weird that.
Or it's like a weasel and a badger combined.
Oh, that's wild.
Not the honey badger, but you know.
Yeah, I wonder if that sounds like when it screeches. Maybe the editor will find that too.
An extreme close-up of Eddie's front door sat in absolute silence for a maddeningly long time. At least 2 minutes of dead silence and a door. And
wow, a very Evangelion-like long shot. I appreciate that.
And again, classic creepypasta protagonist just watching total nothingness for minutes on end.
You gotta say, hey, if when you're trying to scar children for life, you gotta cut corners, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, all these stories have this theme of guy watches television for like 5 minutes as nothing happens on the screen. Like, that's usually the point where I leave. I don't know.
Unless like you're trying to make a deliberate point with the silence, you know, because that's why I said Evangelion. Like towards the end of the series, they were like running out of like animation like time, so like certain scenes were like kept as like a still, but they also added to that the idea like you're supposed to feel like uncomfortable or in suspense, sort of. So that's where that kind of thing could work in theory. But here it's just like, oh, nothing. There's got to be a point in a creepypasta story where nothing's happening, so we're at that point now. Just clicking off like creepypasta like checkbox.
Next we see Jimmy and Sarah at a doctor of some sort, probably oral.
Or just say the dentist, my dude. Maybe trying to like give the dentist more credit. Actually, now that I think about it.
Jimmy, obstructed in a view by a hanging lamp, is crying loudly with Sarah, trying to comfort him in an unusually warm fashion. It hurts, Sarah. It hurts.
When is he not doing that, though?
That's a pretty in character, honestly. It's a pretty in character for him.
Suddenly, the door of the room is smashed open by a new character, a dentist. His face wasn't shown because he was tall enough to be out of the shot. Sarah was escorted out of the room. Jimmy was shown. His headgear was mangled. The front bent upwards, stretching his lip very high, tearing proportions. The front of his gums was trickling blood, and teeth were missing. The disturbing part was he had lost both arms and legs beforehand, apparently.
Oh no, now he's a quadriplegic.
And
I don't know why I thought that'd be funny.
Did the dentist, like, amputate him?
they visited a rogue dentist before.
I guess, you know, you probably don't care about your toothache if your arm's gone, you know?
Yeah.
It's all about perspective.
And said a paraplegic. I almost cried as I came to the conclusion the others had beaten him up and bent his headgear.
The other dentists?
The camera stayed on his mangled face for a few seconds, still as a picture, silent as ever. Commercials came on.
Who sponsored this? These commercials.
I'm pretty sure, like, if someone could have called the studio, like, someone was watching could, like, made a big fuss or something like that and say, hey, and then higher up, like, if this dude's aunt, or as the CEO of Cartoon Network, he could have called her at this point, you know?
We are instantly assaulted with a very hairy Rolf in his darkened shed, fisting the cow repeatedly.
You dare! Oh no!
The son of a shepherd has lost his mind.
Please, indulge in Rolf's fisting, animal.
I hate this so much now. This was the worst part.
The visual loops and gets blurry again as the scene pans out.
It should. Good fuzzy. No one should have to see this.
Ness is reading a magazine on her couch. The quality is now perfect.
Just like one person's fine.
Eddie is now alone without Ed. The quality declines worse than before and he is still walking. The sun now lightening the mood somewhat as he smiles and begins running. The door is shown again and we see through Eddie's eyes as he reaches out and opens it. His house is nice and bright, but a very badly played violin is blaring. The only audio in the scene as he makes his way through the house. Eddie opens the door to his room.
The only music in the background is just Squidward's my best friend in the sea.
Oh God!
Could you imagine if that was playing in the background?
That's on a different network.
It's Creepypasta. Anything goes at this point.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we just saw Rolf fisting cows.
I'm never gonna get over that.
God.
Johnny is shown under Ness's couch cushion as he crawls out on all fours in a comedic way and pops up behind her, still oblivious. I laughed because someone forgot to draw his eyes and I thought of a mole. Suddenly I stopped laughing as he started swallowing her head, still in a cartoonish fashion of course, but this was different. He and she stayed like this until she started kicking and struggling. Johnny held her like this until she went limp. A zoom in on his face revealed extremely small human eyes.
I didn't expect us to start getting Ed and Eddie Vor out of this story.
Dude, if I could whistle, I would whisper the theme right now. Did I say whisper? I meant to say whistle.
Double D was laying on Eddie's floor, no longer in claymation. The camera showed Eddie's house for the remainder of the episode. About 3 minutes! And the next program began on the spot.
What is the purpose of this story? I mean, this looks like it's just a bunch of fetishes. Eddie's moaning, someone's fisting a cow, Johnny Vor's Naz. Is that it?
I didn't even understand that last part, to be perfectly frank.
Which part?
The one you just mentioned, the one about being bored. I didn't even comprehend what was happening there.
I thought he said, Johnny ate Naz, or he was beginning to eat Naz.
Oh,
that's a fetish for some people, being eaten.
No. I understand what Vor is. I just didn't understand that he was trying to describe Vor.
I don't know. He just swallowed Naz's head. I just assumed it was Vor related. I don't know. So,
and then Eddie pops up and carves the aristocrats on the desk. Could you imagine if it was just the aristocrats?
What do you mean, them singing or?
Oh no, the aristocrats is a famous joke where it's a family walks into a talent agent's office and for their opening act just degenerate freaking disgusting stuff, and then at the end they're like, what do you call yourselves? The aristocrats. That's who we are. Tell me that doesn't describe this story to a T.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the stories are like this. I mean, none of these things really make sense. These creepypastas, they always just give you this really random. The character suddenly murders somebody else, and it was the lost episode that, none of it ever really makes any sense or kind of fits. So yeah, it's kind of non sequitur in that way.
Well, I guess so.
Well,
that was our Creepypasta Ruin Your Childhood sampler.
And there are more of these, so if people ever want to see more of it, I think they can always check out the link, or we could read them at some point.
Okay, and remember, two things. One, don't talk to this author. I think for your own mental health, you shouldn't. There's no telling what he'll send to you.
Yeah, this isn't about protecting him, this is about protecting you.
Exactly. And secondly, last but not least, if you don't like, do not read.
I